What up, cucks? It's time for another hater classic. Let's get to it, motherfucks. This one is called 25 Reasons Why WWE Sucks. Haters Season -1 2024 Reboot. Let's get to it. The first reason why WWE sucks is because they present wrestling like a real sport, and wrestling is not a real sport. Wrestling is fake, motherfucks. It is fake. So when they present it as a real sport, without the elements that make it what it is, like stories and things like that, they lose points in my book. Reason number 2. Cody Rhodes is the champion, and he is a horrible champion, as we have established many times in this channel. Cody Rhodes is seldom on SmackDown or Raw, and Cody Rhodes wrestles very, very infrequently, and he just doesn't feel like a champion. Reason number 3. Everyone is a mid-carder. I just did another video where I talk about this, but this is definitely one of the top reasons why WWE sucks. Reason quattro, or number 4, as we say. They got rid of Vince McMahon based on only accusations. Now, this one pisses me off a lot. I get it. It's not good for the image. But what happened to loyalty, motherfucks? What happened to just being like, wait a second, we stand by Vince. We don't believe he did any of this, right? Simple as that. We're going to wait to see how this plays out until all the facts come out. And then if we're wrong, this won't be the first time we're wrong, right? Why doesn't Vince McMahon get the benefit of the doubt that Chris Benoit, a murderer, got, right? And this is, of course, bolstered by the fact that Chris Benoit is a throwaway mid-carder, whereas Vince McMahon is Vince McMahon. You understand me? Reason number 5. Triple H is now in charge, and he sucks. Triple H, one of my personal favorite wrestlers, but one of my least favorite personalities in wrestling after he retired. Reason number 6, a personal favorite reason of the haters. There are too many commercials. Not only do they have commercials every 3 or 4 minutes on Raw, but there's commercials while the show is going on. I'm not talking only about the sponsorships, although those are obnoxious. I'm talking about the sponsorships that actually serve as commercials, right? Oh, Cricket Wireless, Charlotte Flair is like the champion, and then like the green cricket mascot is like, I want to be champion. Get Cricket Wireless. Oh, Minute Maid Aqua Fresca, buy it, right in the middle of the Rey Mysterio match. Oh, the Mountain Dew match between LA Knight and Bray Wyatt, rest in peace. See what I'm saying? And then they'll have like 2 jobbers, right? In the past, it used to be like Crime Time. Now it's like probably like Humberto Carrillo and the other one, or the Street Profits, and it's like 2 grown men, or like Otis. It's usually like Alpha Academy. They're like playing with action figures, and they're like, oh, I just attacked you with the new WWE ladder playset, right? Oh, Akira Tozawa, why don't you dance and do the ruffle shuffle, right? Everything is a fucking commercial, and this company is going down the drain for it. Reason number 7. It goes along with reason 6. There are not enough segments and not enough actual wrestling. This is almost like 2 reasons. There needs to be more wrestling, right? But I don't care about the in-ring stuff. I would be much happier with more promos, right? But promos like the ones that The Rock was cutting that move the story forward, there isn't enough of this because there's too many commercials, cucks. Reason number 8. When we do have wrestling, a lot of it is women's wrestling. Now, women's wrestling has a spot on the card. I'm not saying anything, you know what I mean? The hater loves everyone, right? But the truth is that the women wrestlers are not differentiated enough, so I don't care enough, right? They're like, I just learned that there's a wrestler named Cora Jade. And I was like, yeah, in my head, I'm like, yeah, that's the NXT champion. Then I learned there's another one called Roxanne Perez. I don't know what the fuck the difference is. Who cares which one's which? Oh, Lyra Valkyria got drafted to Raw, and Blair Davenport got drafted to SmackDown. It could have gone the other way around and nothing would change. That's what I mean, right? There's nothing in the women's division that is compelling, right? It's not like, oh, well, this woman, like let's say you had a wrestler whose character was she's a vegan. And on the other side, on the other show, you had a wrestler whose gimmick was she's a butcher. Fuck it, right? Now you have a natural feud. So when the vegan goes to the show with the butcher, you're like, oh, I wonder how that's going to play out. But if Blair Davenport goes to SmackDown and Lyra Valkyria goes to Raw, it's like, oh, it's just one more woman wrestler, right? Like, what does this change? Absolutely nothing, right? It's not much better with the men either, but at least there's some history there, right? Reason number 9, too many entrances. Entrances are boring. I fucking hate them, and I hate when people take 5 minutes to come out. It's not uncommon for WWE to start the segment, It's just the entrance, and by the time Tommaso Ciampa or some other jobber is in the ring, Michael Cole will be like, join us right after this commercial break. So you just spent 3 minutes just showing me an entrance? How about do that during the commercial break and don't cut in the middle of the fucking match, right, into something else? You see what I'm saying? That is unacceptable. Reason number 10, there is basically zero mainstream appeal, right? Nobody cares about wrestling in the mainstream anymore, and that is also unacceptable and a reason why WWE sucks. Reason number 11. I'm really loving these reasons today for some reason. Reason number 11. There is a lot of unnecessary nonsense like WWE drafts and the Slammies that are a complete and utter waste of time. Nobody cares about either. It shouldn't be on TV for sure. It shouldn't even be a thing. Reason number 12. No one ever gets pushed, right? It's just everyone is stagnant. It doesn't matter what you do. Everyone just stays where they were. Reason number 13. There are zero storylines, right? Now that the Bloodline storyline is over, we have nothing to look forward to, CUCKS. Reason number 14. There are too many live events, too many WWE premium live events, or as I still call them, pay-per-views, right? Now, this would normally be a good thing, but when there's no consistency and each one has 5 matches, this is stupid. It would be better off to have, let's say, 8 pay-per-views. They would feel like a much bigger deal, and the people that are making the matches wouldn't feel the need to waste any matches like they do now. Like, let's be real. Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles is not a main event worthy or even a pay-per-view worthy match, right? Now, it could be a decent mid-card match, right? But under no circumstances should the pay-per-view be headlined by AJ Styles versus Cody Rhodes. If you only had 8 pay-per-views, that would never be one of the matches, right? You'd be like, oh, how do we make this worthwhile? It has to feel big. But if you have one every 3 weeks, then you can throw away matches like Damian Priest and Jey Uso and consider that to be like a championship match. That's stupid. Reason number 15. There are too many jobbers in the premium live events, right? Like, Randy Orton has a throwaway match. Drew McIntyre, as far as I know, is not even in Backlash. I'm going to Google this while I continue my rant, but I'm pretty sure that in WWE Backlash, there is no Drew McIntyre. So, now, granted, he could come up, he could show up there and, cut a promo, right? That wouldn't be crazy because there's only like 5 matches in here. Let's see. We've got 5 matches. Don't see Drew McIntyre, but I do see Tiffany Stratton and Naomi. That's sure going to draw a lot of views. Oh, but Hater, Tiffany Stratton is great. Is she? Her gimmick is completely done. Like, the whole rich girl gimmick, which was a great gimmick, isn't a gimmick anymore. Now she's basically like a blonde and white Bianca Belair. It's the same thing. She just thinks she's great and she's a good athlete. Wow, fantastic. I wonder how that's going to play out when Lyra Valkyria shows up. Nobody cares, CUCKS. Nobody cares. Reason 16, there are too many jobbers in general. Not just in live events, but everywhere. Berto still has a job. I rest my case. Reason number 17, the wrestlers are indistinguishable, right? This is why who at one point I could tell you all the Intercontinental champions and all the world champions from when I started watching wrestling to that time because I have a sick memory. Now, my memory doesn't care enough to register who fucking Roxanne Perez beat in NXT. I don't care at all, so I don't remember, right? Too many jobbers, and too many of them are indistinguishable, right? You tell me what the difference is between Nathan Frazier and Tyler Bate. Oh, one is a high flyer and one is a strong guy. I'm talking about why do they both have a job? It's as simple as that, CUCKS. Why do you need both Obafemi and Omos? You have one Nigerian. You don't need another one if the first one hasn't done anything, right? They got that Oro Mensa guy, and he's like, oh, I'm inspired by Kofi Kingston. Fantastic. We already have Kofi Kingston. Why the fuck do we need you? Another Kofi Kingston. Oh, I grew up idolizing this person. I'm exactly like him. Why do we need both The Miz and MJF? You can just have The Miz. You don't need 2 of the same thing unless you have some extenuating circumstance like twins or something like that you can market, right? Otherwise, we need you to be different. We need you, Obafemi, to not feel like Omos, just a big, tall, strong Nigerian guy, right? And that's his gimmick. He's a big, tall, strong Nigerian. We have one of these. We don't need another one. That's why I keep saying this has Bull Dempsey written all over it, because it's like, we've seen this song and dance before. The worst example I can think of is Tyler Breeze, personally, right? It's like, here's this new Dolph Ziggler, right? It's like a Dolph Ziggler that's worse than Dolph Ziggler in every metric, right? He doesn't look as aesthetically pleasing because Dolph Ziggler, to all the shit I say about him, he was always in phenomenal shape. He doesn't look as good. He's not as athletic, right? And I mean, neither of them are good on the mic, but he's definitely not better on the mic, right? So it's like, why do we need... I can't believe this. When I saw Tyler Breeze debut, I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, haven't they seen how much Dolph Ziggler has failed? Why are they doing another one? It doesn't make any sense. You see what I'm saying? No logic behind this whatsoever, right? But whatever. It's their company. Do what you want, cucks. Reason number 18. The few wrestlers that show personality are treated like jobbers. I personally like how Chad Gable is now turning into like the heel version of the shoosh, thank you guy, right? He's making that into something, right? He's wearing like the nice clothes and he's out there interfering, and he's good interfering because he does moves like deadlift Germans. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty sick, but whatever. He's not going to go anywhere. Let's be real, right? Then we've got reason number 19. Uninspired wrestling moves that have nothing to do with the wrestler, right? There was a point where the wrestling move matched the wrestler. There's still some of this going on, right? Like, so for example, Damian Priest is a big, tall guy, so he does a big choke slam, and it's called the South of Heaven, right? Because, he's like a hellish character, or he used to be at least, right? But then you have wrestlers who just do regular ass wrestling moves as finishers. The best example, of course, is Gunther. This guy, like, he'll finish a match with, like, a botched move. Like, it's ridiculous, Tommaso Ciampa, like, he has a move, the fairy tale ending. Why? What fairy tale are you ending? Explain to me why this move is called this, right? That's actually not a good example because I think that was, like, when he was, like, attacking Johnny Gargano, and the whole point was, like, he doesn't want Gargano to have his fairy tale moment. That's actually a good idea. It's actually a good move. But I think we all understand what I'm getting at, right? Finn Balor, the coup de grace. Why? Why does he have a French name for a move? Doesn't make any sense. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Reason number 20. 20. Reason number. Did I skip something here, motherfuckers? Where are we? Okay, reason number 20. Let's go back there. Zero gimmicks. Nobody. Yeah, that's where we're at, cucks. Don't question me. Reason number 20. Zero gimmicks. Right. This goes back to the indistinguishable wrestlers. Right. You could literally, and I'm not even exaggerating. You could take Nathan Frazier, and you could take Pete Dunne, and you could take Tyler Bate, and you can literally get a hat and in the hat, take pieces of paper and write different occupations on them, right? And pick. And be like, now Pete Dunne, his gimmick is he's a paper boy. And the other, Tyler Bate, his gimmick is he's a firefighter. And Nathan Frazier is now a cop. And they would be more interesting with these bullshit hat gimmicks that I just invented than they are now. Because at least it'd be like, oh, he's a cop. Maybe he'll do some cop shit. Oh, the firefighter. What's his move? The fire hose? No, now his move is the Tyler Driver 91. Wow. Well, I can't wait to see Tyler Bate on TV again. You see what I'm getting at here, motherfucks? You need differentiation, right? But if there's no gimmicks, there is no need for me to care about... There's a new kid in NXT, right? Some black kid, I forget his name, right? This guy has Wesley written all over him, right? It's the same fucking thing. It's just an athletic, young black guy. We've seen this a million times. It never works out, right? Then you have the athletic white guy, Nathan Frazier, right? What's the difference between Nathan Frazier and the new kid? There is no difference. The only difference is one is white and one is black. And that's not enough, motherfucks. I need some good writing here. Reason 21, repeatedly getting wrestlers that are the same failed wrestler. I accidentally talked about this before, but the point stands, right? You have Bull Dempsey, you get another Bull Dempsey. You have Dolph Ziggler, you get another Dolph Ziggler, right? How about, instead of this, you look at the wrestlers that have had longevity and success. Let's take R-Truth, right? You're like, oh, why is R-Truth beloved, right? He's funny, he's entertaining, right? He always has a good physique, and he puts on decent matches, right? Aim for that, right? Don't find another R-Truth. You're not going to get that again, right? Don't find another Undertaker. You're not going to get that again. Find someone that brings something new, right? There are people in the indies that have gimmicks, right? I went to an indie show, and I saw this guy. His gimmick was he wears a green hat. I don't understand what the fuck was going on. And it's like, what is this guy doing? He's never going to get signed to WWE with like a non-gimmick. You need a gimmick, right? You need a gimmick that works. Karrion Kross, for all the shit I talk about him, like he got signed because he was different, right? He was different. He wasn't good. And then ultimately he ended up being the same. But at least he got signed with it. So they should go and sign people that have gimmicks. Don't sign someone, Karrion Kross, he could be a good wrestler one day. So let's give him an overproduced entrance, push him, and then realize he's shit. And then he becomes a jobber, right? Don't do that. Do what I say, cucks. Reason number 22. There is no kayfabe at critical times in wrestling, right? The best example of this is from the WWE draft. They had the entire NXT roster sitting there and clapping for each other when someone got drafted. Lexis King, known as Brian Pillman Jr., is a heel, right? Why is he happy for anybody, right? He's a heel. He's supposed to hate everyone. Ilya Dragunov is this serious Russian, German type guy, right? Why is he happy for anyone except for himself? Why is Trick Williams sitting next to Ilya Dragunov? I understand they don't have any bad blood because they're both faces, but up until a few weeks ago, they were wrestling each other, right? There needs to be some sort of manufactured hate, right? Like one example of this that was great was during the Hall of Fame ceremony from last year, right? Dominic Mysterio got up and walked away. This was great. He maintained kayfabe in a non-kayfabe event. But the draft, which is a kayfabe event, right? And it's treated as such because it's not like, oh, Blair Davenport got drafted. She knew she eventually would be, right? So it's like, but then everyone's like happy for her. Like everyone breaks kayfabe. There's no more heels. Everyone in NXT is a face. They're all friends, right? There should be a situation where like Obafemi doesn't want to stand next to like whoever the fuck he's feuding with, right? He doesn't want to be in the same room as this guy because they might fight. That's what makes wrestling good, cucks. Reason number 23. Nothing unexpected really happens ever at this point, right? You have these expected things or, quasi-unexpected things like, oh, Ludwig Kaiser turned on Giovanni Vinci. Great, who cares, right? Like Carmelo Hayes turning on Trick Williams. That's expected. We all knew that was happening. And it was really stupid. So there you have it. Reason 24. There are no more dynamic and awesome debuts. If you haven't seen it, go on YouTube after you watch this video, cucks, and type in Brock Lesnar debut Raw, right? Basically, there's a triple threat hardcore jobber match involving Al Snow, Spike Dudley, and Maven. Brock Lesnar appears out of nowhere, right? JR's like, oh my God, King, that's Brock Lesnar. And Brock Lesnar proceeds to beat the shit out of Al Snow, Spike Dudley, and Maven. He just destroys them. And you couldn't help. And then you have Paul Heyman, like, by the apron. He's like, get him, get him. You're like, what the fuck did I just see? First of all, holy shit, Paul Heyman is back as a manager because he had just gotten fired because of the whole invasion angle, right? But who is this monster that he brought with him? Where did they find this fuck, right? I felt the same way when they first introduced Braun Strowman. I'm like, where the fuck? Like, because he's like a foot taller than Roman Reigns and the rest of the Shield. He just destroys all of them. And I'm like, where the fuck did they find this motherfucker? This was already compelling. It made you want to watch the next week. But now, debuts are like, you've been drafted to NXT, Lyra Valkyria. Good luck. So, there you have it. And, of course, reason number 25, my personal favorite. Too much appeal to the neckbeard demographic. And since I did a video on this recently, I'm not going to bore you all with that. But it is one of the reasons. So with that being said, cucks, these have been 25 reasons why WWE sucks.